What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the Crypto Catch Up. Of course, your number one place to catch up on crypto. Now, today we've been seeing absolute madness in the altcoin market. We're seeing Pepe soaring. We're seeing a lot of alts crashing. I mean, man, things have been crazy. And I want to talk to you all a little bit today about what's going on, some news that we got, and much more. You guys know what we like to do here on the CCU is to do a Bitcoin and broad market overview in the morning and then some altcoin coverage in the afternoon. So if you have been enjoying that structure, please do let me know in the comments below and by smashing that like button. But with that said, let's get started and let's get a feel for what is going on in this altcoin market today. Well, what we can see is that the global crypto market cap is down about 1% today. We did hit that $1 trillion mark and it's pulled back just a little bit, mostly just because of what we are seeing. You know, Ethereum down, Solana down, BNB down, XRP down, and the majority of your cryptos down. Now, there are a few that have done okay over the last 24 hours. Obviously, Doge has done okay. Sui's done okay. Eunice, whatever that thing is, I've never heard of this one. Oh, Leo, yeah, I've heard about this one. This one's up about 23% in the last 24 hours. Pepe absolutely took off, which we'll talk about in a little while. And Dogwith had is up. But outside of that, the vast majority of your altcoins, especially your meme coins, are getting kind of wrecked on today. Now, you can see that here. You know, if you go to the daily, Peanut is doing well with Pepe, Mog, and Floki. But outside of that, a rather red day for the market. Now, a lot of people do get so overreactionary and so exaggerative in this market. And everybody's just talking about, oh, this is down 10% and that's down 20% and this is the end of the run, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, just look at the weeklies. This is a retracement. Look how green everything still is on the weekly, and then you look at the monthly and you can even see it even clearer. The vast majority of these cryptos are still substantially up, and when we see these little pullbacks, you can't stress about them, you can't freak out about them, because quite frankly, it's just going to do nothing but stress you out, give you gray hairs, and probably make you lose a bit of money. So overall, yeah, we're seeing a bit of a pullback in the altcoin market today, but nothing too crazy. But I will actually say that what we are seeing in terms of these this pullback is actually probably a pretty good thing. If we go out to our RSI, let's go to our RSI heat map right now, and then let's go to, let's look at all of them. So what we can see here is that for a while there, all of our major RSI indicators were too high, right? The overbought and the strong zone are very risky zones. This is the level in which you're probably going to see a pullback coming. And what you can see now is our 4-hour RSI is actually below the 50% threshold. That means in the 4-hour time frames, we're actually getting almost overextended to the downside for a lot of your major altcoins. Now, Bitcoin's still pretty high up there. This thing is still in the strong zone, so that does need to come down a little bit more, which could drag these ones down into oversold and weak zones. So it might come down a little bit further. But I do like the fact that I'm seeing that reset happen here on the 4-hour and I believe the 12-hour. Yeah, the 12-hour is a little bit higher at a 53%, but overall still pretty high. Now, obviously, when we talk, we look at the 24-hour, we are starting to see some of those drift a little bit higher, right? Sui, XRP, ADA, a lot of those overextended. But even here, seeing a good bit of those reset. And then on the weekly, it's still rather reset. So although it does feel like things are overextended and too excited and whatever, a lot of our top 100 cryptos are still not overbought. A lot of your major ones, like your Bitcoin and your Sui's and Solana, those are a little bit high, but we've not really seen that liquidity funnel into your altcoins and meme coins and microcaps quite yet, which means to me that this little cycle we're in is probably not over yet. Usually, once you start seeing your altcoin market too high, that's when the little cycle is going to end. And so overall, I'd actually say things look pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, things are a little bit exciting, right? Like, we're in extreme greed right now, somewhere that we've only been 5% of the time of all time. When you look at the 1 year, this is only the 16th day that we've been here, not in a row, but just in general in the last year. And obviously within the last month, this is the first day that we've been here. And so when you do start getting pushed up that high, you obviously have to understand that that is a risk. But quite frankly, I mean, I still think we're in a pretty decent spot, and I think this thing can continue higher. I mean, there have been extended periods of time throughout history where we've pushed into these extreme greed moments. I mean, even like back here as Bitcoin was breaking its all-time high for the first time, and we stayed there in extreme greed the entire bull market. And so, not to say that it, has to crash now or anything, but of course you have to be aware that caution should be used right now, especially while we're extremely greedy. So things are in a good spot, things are in a decent spot. The crypto market's simply just pulling back, not crashing, but pulling back. But I would exercise a little bit of caution, even though I don't think this is going to last forever. Now, looking at these things from a technical perspective, before we talk about some news that we got today, we can see that, the crypto market it's pretty clear what's happening right now. So as you all know, I'm a major major proponent of the Fibonacci's. I don't know why I blanked on that word, but the Fibonacci's. And if, you know, it's something we talk about here. It's something we talk about over in the Patreon. We talk about them a lot. I actually will let you know, I'm going to be making a crash course on the Fibonacci's over in the Patreon. And by the way, guys, for just $1 a month, you can join the community on the Patreon. And for $5 a month, you get access to my thoughts and insights, daily fundamental analysis, daily technical analysis, and the crash courses that I'm going to be releasing. I'm doing some on the Fibonacci's, technicals, structures, fundamental analysis, and meme coin investing, and much more. So go check that out down below. Let me know what you think. It's, again, $5 a month or just $1 a month, all available for you down there. But anyway, when we're looking at total 2, what we can see is that when our Fibonacci's are drawn on, we can see that the total market cap of altcoins, which is what total 2 is, just broke the macro 618 to 786 zone. So of course, once you break the 618 to 786 zone, you're going to have to come back and retest it a little bit. Now, that's not saying that it's not going to continue lower. That is very well the case, or very well might be the case, but we did break it. We've already cleared it. And so if this thing wants to trend back down, guys, and come find some support and the altcoin market wants to pull back and cool down, let it. It just broke this inverse head and shoulders. It broke out of this bullish structure. If it needs to come back and flip that point of resistance into support and then use that to continue higher, let it. That's how you get a sustainable move to the upside. This is how you get longevity, not by the altcoin market is going straight up like we all wanted to because we're being greedy. No, let this bad boy cool down and pull back. Let those indicators calm down a little bit. Let all these bulls relax a little bit, and then we can continue on with this little mini altcoin season we're seeing right now. I still don't believe we're in the macro altcoin season just because Bitcoin dominance is still continuing higher. It's not broken the macro trend, and it's not even showing signs of an altcoin season yet. So I believe we're still in a little tiny altcoin season right now that's going to be shadowed by the big altcoin season at some given point. So no need to stress about this, guys. No need to stress about these red days and stuff like that. At the end of the day, if it's going to pull back, it's going to pull back. Take a little bit of profit off the table and get ready. And all these cryptos that are doing well that you want some more of, if we do get a pullback, that's going to be a good time to do some dollar cost averaging for you. So from a technical and fundamental perspective, the altcoin market's in a good spot. It's coming back to retest some key zones. Let it do that, and then hopefully we're going to build some support and see these altcoins continue forward. Now, although it was a rather red day, we did get some pretty interesting pieces of news today, especially about Pepe and about what we saw with Doge and stuff. So I do want to talk a little bit about that. Now, the first one and the big piece of news for the day, obviously, is that Pepe pumped over 50% after Coinbase and Robinhood listings. Now, you guys remember back in 2021, dude, when these things would get listed on, more like 2021, 2022, but when these cryptos would get launched on Robinhood, boy, would they surge. And it makes a lot of sense. Robinhood is probably one of the best trading platforms, minus the fact that they screwed us with GameStop, but we're not going to get into that. They're probably one of the best platforms for retail investors, especially for cryptos. Now, I don't particularly like, using it personally. I wouldn't, but I know a lot of retail investors who don't know any better, and they do use it, and they, of course, have heard about Pepe. And so if you're trying to appeal to retail investors, launching and listing on Robinhood makes a ton of sense. And also on Coinbase. Pepe's earned it, quite frankly. If Doge and Shiba can be up there, I think Pepe should too, because I don't think Pepe is the same status in terms of a legacy meme coin, but it got to be the second tier, like the tier right below them. And so I think it's earned it. I think it makes a ton of sense. And that's, of course, why we saw this bad boy absolutely sending today. We can see that Pepe is currently, let me pull that up. This thing currently, it hit that 1.272 Fibonacci extension up here. And so now after that has been accomplished, sure, it might pull back a little bit, right? It hit that massive breakout zone up there. Might come back down, try to flip these previous points of resistance that we saw back in the day. Back over, right, let's go here, right? Flip this previous point of resistance, this previous macro high. Might be looking to try to flip that bad boy into some support and then use that support to continue back upwards. There's a chance that it does really pull back, right? And I think there's a chance that we come back towards that 152 level, somewhere around here. But obviously only time will tell. That's just a rather strong speculation. I just think that might be the case because it did have such a blow off top move right here. And so because of that, Pepe, although it had that great news about Coinbase and Robinhood, which will propel it into the rest of this market, you do need to be a little bit cautious about it because, again, I think that a pullback here does make some sense, especially if it loses support. I think if Pepe loses support at 172, I would be expecting it to pull back towards that 1.5 level towards the downside there. So Pepe looking pretty dang on interesting. And guys, look, I will remind you a couple things. One, I post daily technical analysis over on my main channel. It's almost at 100,000 subscribers. I post on here like 5 or 6 times a day. So if you want more content from me, go check that out. And also, if you do want to trade some of these different cryptos like Pepe and Shiba and Doge and ETH and all of these big ones, I personally use Margex. This is the platform where I do 70% of my trading. And the coolest part about it is you don't need to KYC, meaning you don't need to hand over any of your personal information. Hell, you don't even need to use a VPN. You can just sign up and start trading. And Margex is going to give you up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards specifically specifically with my link down below. So make sure that you do go check that out. This is where I do the vast majority of my own trading, and I think that you should definitely give that a look. Now, the last piece of news I wanted to talk about today was that we finally started getting some postings and some information in here from this account. Now, what is this account? This account is the Department of Government Efficiency. Now, if you look very closely, its tag is at Doge, D-O-G-E. Now, we got a retweet of this from Elon, and Elon came out and said, "It begins." And of course, you know, I told you all yesterday that in these, or no, that was earlier this morning, that in these moments, like right now, this is where a lot of the rumors that we've heard of become a reality. This is a moment in which all the things that we said might happen or could happen or should happen are finally starting to happen. And so that true intrinsic value that we can derive from that event or from that thing is actually starting to happen. You know, what we've been talking about is, well, Donald Trump's going to be president and he's going to appoint Elon as the head of the Doge, you know, the Department of Government Efficiency or whatever. And, you know, all these things are going to happen, and this is going to be good for Doge. This is going to put eyes on Doge and blah, 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 blah. But there's all been rumor at the end of the day. Although they said that that was going to happen, it's just been speculation. It's just been rumor that they were actually going to do it, but now it's actually happening. And in these moments, it starts to solidify some of the things that we've been saying into actual fact and drive a real intrinsic value. And so I think that this is a great thing for Doge itself, the token. I think that this is a certification that they're actually going to be providing more value and that they're going to be a true internal injectable portion or aspect of the presidential cabinet and, you know, of the administration, all of which should bring more eyes to Doge, more opportunities to Doge, and overall more volume to Doge. And so the fact that Doge's price itself didn't perform that great today, like if we go here, the fact that it's not performed that great is actually a little bit surprising to me. But at the end of the day, the buy the rumor and sell the news events do happen quite often, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. But I think realistically, this is just, as Elon said, the very beginning of all of this movement for Doge, and I do expect there to be even more impacts coming in the future. So could be a good time, you know, especially if it does pull back a bit, to start, you know, accumulating a little bit of Doge. Because I did say over on my main channel earlier, I do think that Doge is going to try to push up towards 85 cents at some point, and that of course is a nice solid 2x from here. And so with that said, a lot of fantastic things going on in the market. Big news for Pepe, big news for Doge, a little bit of a pullback today, but nothing to stress about in my opinion, because we are looking pretty damn good in the grand scheme of things. And overall, I do believe this is a healthy natural pullback. So that's about it for today's update on the altcoins. Of course, guys, like I said, I want to do 2 videos a day, one in the morning about Bitcoin in the broad market, the second one about altcoins. So if you do enjoy that structure, please let me know down below. There's a couple things for you to check out there. You can join the private community for just $1 a month. You can, of course, do some trading over on Margex if you want up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards. And if you do want to see daily technical analysis on some of your favorite cryptos, feel free to go subscribe to my main channel, which is of course linked down below. But of course, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.